Love, my friends, is not something that can be given in pieces or only when it's convenient. When you love wholeheartedly, without hesitation, without reservation. Love is not a transaction where you give just enough to get by. It is a full offering of yourself to another. You see, too often people enter relationships with their hearts half open, afraid to give all of themselves. But real love requires more than just a little part of you. It demands everything. And I'm not just talking about the good parts of you, the parts that are easy to love, but the parts that are broken, the parts that have been hurt, and the parts that need healing. Those are the parts that need love the most. When we talk about loving wholeheartedly, we're talking about complete commitment. It's easy to love someone when everything is going well, when the sun is shining and the path is clear. But true love is proven in the storm. It's tested when the winds blow hard and the rain falls. When love is wholehearted, it remains steady in the face of difficulty. It's not contingent upon the other person meeting all your needs or fulfilling all your expectations. No, true love doesn't waver when things get tough. It's an anchor in the storm, a commitment that says, no matter what happens, I'm here, I'm all in. Half-hearted love, on the other hand, is like a tree with shallow roots. It might look pretty at the surface, but when the winds of life blow, it topples over. And when you give only part of yourself, you are robbing not only the person you're in a relationship with, but also yourself. You are denying them the chance to love you fully, and you are denying yourself the joy of experiencing the kind of love that can only come from being fully known and fully accepted. This isn't just about romantic love. This applies to every relationship in your life, whether it's with a friend, a family member, or a colleague. The truth is, you cannot experience the fullness of love if you are not willing to give all of yourself. Some of us have been afraid to love wholeheartedly because we fear rejection or hurt. We've been burned before, and now we're scared to open our hearts again. But let me tell you something, loving with your whole heart is the only way to experience the depth of connection that life has to offer. When you hold back, you are not protecting yourself, you are limiting your capacity for true joy, growth, and connection. When you love without holding any back, you open the door to a love that is greater than anything you could ever imagine. You see, love requires vulnerability. It means letting someone into your world, into the deepest parts of who you are. It's about being open, even when it's scary, because you know that real connection is worth the risk. Half love doesn't allow for this kind of intimacy. It keeps people at arm's length, refusing to allow anyone to see the real you. But when you love with your whole heart, you give others the opportunity to know you at your core. And in return, you are given the opportunity to truly know them. That's where the magic happens, the transformation. And that's where love becomes something more than just a feeling. It becomes a force that changes lives, that heals wounds, and that brings hope where there was once despair. So I challenge you today, don't settle for half love. Don't let fear or past pain keep you from experiencing the fullness of love that's available to you. Give all of yourself and watch as your relationships begin to transform. When you love wholeheartedly, you unlock the potential for true, lasting connection. And that, my friends, is the kind of love that will carry you through the storms of life. You see, many of us have been caught in the trap of settling for half love because we didn't recognize what true love really looked like. We've allowed ourselves to be in relationships where we give all of ourselves, but the other person only offers us part of what we need. And we've accepted it. We've made excuses telling ourselves this is the best I can get, or maybe I'm asking too much. But let me tell you something, settling for half love is not only dangerous, it's a betrayal of your own worth. You deserve more than just a piece of someone's heart. You deserve the whole thing. We live in a world that often teaches us to accept less than we're worth. The culture tells us to be patient, to wait, to tolerate things that don't serve us just because we're afraid of being alone. But I'm here to tell you that waiting for half love only leaves you half empty. It keeps you stuck in a cycle where you're constantly giving, constantly compromising, but never receiving what you need to thrive. You were not created to live in this kind of deficit. You were made for full love, the kind that doesn't hold back, the kind that makes you feel seen, heard, and valued. Half love shows up in many ways. Sometimes it looks like a partner who loves you on their terms. They give you affection when they feel like it, but when you need them, they are nowhere to be found. Other times, it's the love that comes with conditions. I'll love you if you do this for me. Or I'll love you as long as you meet my expectations. This is not love. This is a transaction, a contract with no real commitment behind it. It's love with strings attached, love that isn't unconditional. And when you settle for that, you're settling for less than you're worth. And let's be honest, half love is exhausting. It leaves you constantly wondering where you stand. One day they're all in, showing you affection and care. The next they're distant, and you're left trying to figure out what went wrong. You begin to question yourself, to doubt your own value. But let me remind you, if someone truly loves you, they don't treat you like you're an afterthought. They don't keep you guessing about where you fit in their life. Real love is constant, steady, and unwavering. It's not a guessing game, it's a promise that you're enough no matter what. The danger of half love is that it keeps you in a place of emotional limbo. It keeps you from experiencing the fullness of what a real relationship can offer. It holds you back from growing, from flourishing, from becoming the person you were meant to be. And it also holds the other person back. When you give only part of yourself, you deny them the opportunity to love you fully, to know you completely, and by doing so, you both miss out on something beautiful and transformative. But you have the power to change that. You don't have to settle for half love. You don't have to stay in relationships that only give you fragments of affection. It's time to raise your standards to demand more, not out of arrogance or entitlement, but out of respect for who you are and what you deserve. You are worthy of a love that is all in, all the time. A love that isn't conditional or fleeting. A love that is unshakable and constant. And when you start demanding that kind of love, you will find it. But first, you must believe that you are worth it. Don't settle for half love, because you are made for a love that is whole, that is complete, and that will fill you up in ways you never thought possible. When you settle for half love, you're not just accepting an incomplete version of love, you're robbing yourself of the fullness of life. Let me tell you, this settling for less than you deserve is dangerous. It's dangerous for your soul, dangerous for your heart, and dangerous for your future. When you settle for half love, you're saying to yourself, I'm not worthy of anything more, and you begin to shrink your expectations. You lower your standards to match the love you're receiving, and little by little, you forget what it feels like to be truly valued. The danger of settling is that it leaves you in a constant state of longing. You begin to accept the scraps that come your way and convince yourself that this is all you can have. You convince yourself that it's enough, even when deep down you know it isn't. But let me ask you, why should you settle for crumbs when you were made for a full table? Why should you accept a love that only comes halfway when you were created to be loved completely? The danger of half love is that it prevents you from living the life you were meant to live, a life full of the love, joy, and peace that come from being fully seen, fully valued, and fully accepted. When you settle for less than what you deserve, you give up pieces of yourself. You give up your peace, your joy, your trust, and your ability to hope. You start to lose confidence in who you are because you start to believe that this broken, incomplete version of love is all you can expect. And you begin to lower your expectations for all relationships, not just romantic ones. You start tolerating things in friendships, family dynamics, and work relationships that you would never have stood for before. But let me tell you, the minute you start settling, you start diminishing your own worth. You stop believing in the beauty of what you could have and begin to tolerate mediocrity. The more you settle, the more you normalize it. It becomes your reality. The bar gets lower and lower, and before you know it, you're living a life that doesn't reflect the greatness of who you are. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about perfection here. None of us are perfect, and no relationship will ever be flawless. But what I am talking about is a love that is whole, a love that's willing to work, to fight, to show up in the hard times, not just when it's easy. A love that's consistent, that chooses to be all in no matter what life throws your way. Settling doesn't just affect your heart, it affects your future. You are shaping your future with every decision you make today. If you settle for half love now, you set a precedent for what you will accept tomorrow. You teach yourself to tolerate the bare minimum, and in doing so, you teach others to treat you the same way. But when you stand up and say, I will not settle for less than I deserve, you start to change the trajectory of your life. You begin to demand the kind of love that builds you up, the kind of love that pushes you to be your best self. So hear me when I say this: do not settle. Not in love, not in friendships, not in your career, not in any area of your life. You were made for greatness, and greatness doesn't come from settling. It comes from knowing your worth, standing tall, and refusing to accept anything less than the fullness of what you deserve. When you stop settling, you open the door to the kind of love that fills you up, that nurtures you, that supports you. That's the kind of love that will transform your life, and that's the kind of love you were always meant to have. Let me tell you something about self-worth and boundaries. You cannot expect anyone else to value you more than you value yourself. When you know your worth, when you truly understand the treasure that you are, you will no longer tolerate relationships that diminish you, that don't honor your soul. When you love yourself, you will set boundaries that protect your peace, your heart, and your future. Boundaries are not walls that keep others out. They are the gates that ensure only the right people and the right energy are allowed in. If you don't set them, if you don't demand respect, you open yourself up to being mistreated and taken advantage of. Self-worth is not about arrogance or entitlement. It's about recognizing the value that you bring to the table, the unique qualities, the gifts, and the potential that only you possess. You are not like anyone else, and no one else can fill your place. You were created with a purpose, and that purpose is worthy of respect. You were not created to shrink, to diminish yourself, to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. No, my friend, you are meant to stand tall, to shine brightly, and to walk in your full authority. When you begin to recognize your worth, you stop allowing others to treat you as if you are less than. You stop accepting the half love, the lukewarm affection, because you know that you are worth more. You know that you deserve a love that lifts you up, that sees you, that accepts you for all that you are and all that you are becoming. And when you know this, you will set boundaries. You will no longer allow people to walk in and out of your life at their convenience. You will no longer allow them to take what they want without giving back. You will set the standard for how you are treated, and you won't settle for anything less. Setting boundaries isn't always easy, especially when you've been conditioned to put others first, to serve others, to make others happy. But let me tell you, the greatest gift you can give to others is a healthy, whole version of yourself. And to protect that, to preserve your peace, you must learn to say no. You must learn to walk away from relationships that don't honor your value. It's not about being selfish, it's about being wise. When you allow yourself to be mistreated, when you allow others to take advantage of your kindness, you are doing no one any favors, least of all yourself. Boundaries also give others the opportunity to show up as their best selves. When you set standards for how you will be treated, you teach others how to respect you, how to love you in the way that you deserve. And here's the beauty of it: when you respect yourself enough to set those boundaries, you attract people who will respect you as well. You begin to draw in relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and love. You create space for the right people to enter your life, and you clear away the toxic ones who have no place in your future. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to protect your heart. Don't be afraid to walk away from anything that threatens your peace, your joy, and your purpose. When you know your worth, when you understand who you are, you will stand strong in your boundaries, and you will create the life, the love, and the relationships you deserve. It all starts with you. It all starts with knowing that you are worthy of love that is whole, love that is pure, and love that honors the beautiful person you were always meant to be. Let me tell you something about commitment. True love isn't just about feelings, it's about being all in, no matter what. It's about being steadfast even when the storm comes, even when things aren't perfect. Love that's built on full commitment is unshakable, solid, and unwavering. Too many people today think that love is just about the good times, the easy moments, the moments when everything seems perfect. But love isn't just about being there when things are easy. Love is about showing up when it's hard, when the road gets tough, when the pain is real. Full commitment means that no matter what life throws at you, you are committed to that person, to that relationship, to that connection. It's easy to love someone when everything is going well, when your lives align, when there's no conflict, and you're living in the honeymoon phase. But where is your love when the argument comes? Where is your love when the finances get tight? Where is your love when betrayal happens or when disappointment sets in? That's when you know if love is genuine or if it's just surface level affection. True love doesn't fade when life gets difficult. It only grows stronger, deeper, and more rooted. When we talk about full commitment, we're talking about the kind of love that isn't shaken by temporary circumstances. It's the kind of love that is willing to go through the fire and come out even stronger. The commitment to stand by each other, to lift each other up when one is weak, to support each other when the world tries to tear you apart. This is love that grows in the hard moments, love that matures and flourishes even in the toughest seasons. You see, love without full commitment is like a plant with shallow roots. It may look good for a while, but when the winds of life blow, it will wither and fall. But when love is fully committed, it has deep roots. It's a love that can weather any storm because it's built on trust, loyalty, and sacrifice. And that's what makes it real. That's what makes it lasting. This kind of love isn't based on what you can get from someone. It's based on what you're willing to give, what you're willing to endure, and what you're willing to sacrifice for the sake of the other person. Full commitment is about being present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It means that you choose your partner day in and day out, no matter the challenges that may come. It's about being faithful, not just in your actions, but in your heart. It's about staying true, even when temptation comes, even when the world offers you something easier, something that promises instant gratification. Full commitment means that you are all in every single day, choosing to love that person, choosing to honor that relationship. When both partners are fully committed, that's when the magic happens. That's when the love you share can withstand anything. It's when both people are fully invested, working together, sacrificing together, and building something beautiful together. That's the kind of love that can carry you through the trials of life and lead you to something far greater than what either of you could have accomplished on your own. So I encourage you to choose full commitment. Don't settle for half-hearted love. Don't let fear, doubt, or circumstance dictate your love. Choose to love with everything you have through the good times and the bad. When you choose full commitment, you choose a love that will endure, a love that will stand the test of time, and a love that will bring out the very best in you and in your partner. Full commitment isn't just a choice, it's a lifestyle. It's a promise that no matter what comes, you will stand by each other, unshaken and unbroken. Let me tell you something, when you learn to love yourself fully, you will stop looking for validation in all the wrong places. You won't seek approval from people who can't even see your worth. You won't find yourself chasing after love that isn't reciprocal or hoping that someone will see in you what you're not even sure you see in yourself. When you know your own value, you stop settling for relationships that keep you small. You stop seeking out half-loves that are only there for a season or a reason. You begin to recognize that the love you're looking for starts with you. There's power in knowing your worth and understanding that you are valuable, not because of what you do for others, not because of how you look, not because of how successful you are, but because of who you are. You are worthy because you were created for greatness, and that greatness is not tied to the approval or affection of others. When you embrace your value, you stop waiting for someone else to make you feel whole. You stop relying on someone's yes to validate your worth. Too many people go through life looking for someone else to complete them, to fill that empty space inside. But the truth is, no one can complete you unless you first learn to complete yourself. When you love yourself fully, you understand that you are enough just as you are. You stop giving your heart away to people who don't appreciate it. You stop bending over backward to meet the needs of people who won't do the same for you. Because when you know your worth, you understand that your love is a precious gift, one that should be given only to those who truly deserve it. Self-love isn't about being selfish or narcissistic. It's about recognizing that your heart, your mind, your spirit are valuable. It's about setting boundaries that protect your peace and your well-being. It's about saying no when something isn't in alignment with your values, your purpose, and your happiness. When you love yourself, you stop tolerating disrespect. You stop accepting the crumbs that others are throwing your way. Instead, you start expecting to be treated with the respect and care that you deserve, and you don't settle for anything less. Learning to love yourself fully also means forgiving yourself. It means letting go of the mistakes, the past failures, the moments where you fell short. You can't move forward if you keep holding on to guilt, shame, or regret. You must release it and allow yourself the freedom to grow. Loving yourself means accepting that you're not perfect. That's part of your beauty. You can learn from your mistakes, but you don't have to carry them with you. You're allowed to make mistakes and still be worthy of love. When you love yourself, you also stop looking for someone else to heal you. You understand that the healing begins from within. No one can fix you. No one can complete what is already whole. You begin to nurture your own soul, to fill the gaps that you've been allowing others to fill for too long. You find strength in your own voice and your own spirit. And when you do, you'll realize that the love you were searching for was always there within you. It just needed you to see it, to claim it, and to live it. So stop waiting for someone else to love you the way you need to be loved. The love you've been looking for is already inside of you. Once you start loving yourself fully, the right people will be drawn to you. They will respect your boundaries, they will appreciate your heart, and they will love you in ways you never thought possible. You will no longer accept half love because you will have learned what it means to love yourself completely. And when you love yourself fully, you open the door for a love that is reciprocal, lasting, and true. That's the kind of love you deserve.